Kazan's truth is about to begin. Let's go. Another Kazan's Truth production. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Another one. A double back. We want to call Tristan Sheppard back to the stand. Nolan Wells family. Y'all keep looking under every rock and every stone. We don't have to tell you. It's tricky down here, isn't it? Being married to a woman from Mississippi, 24 years. Plenty of in-laws, family, still in the greatest state of Mississippi. Where all of this is taking place at Ocean Springs, Mississippi, right up off of that I-10 east-west. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. 45-minute ride from me. They are to my west. 45-minute ride if everything is acting right in Mobile, Alabama. Causeway. If it's rolling, 45 minutes. If they playing bump and go, could be an hour. Shouldn't be a moment, no, a moment more. For any questions or concerns, you can reach me at Kazan at gmail.com. For all I know, that fish there could have started off in Ocean Springs and made his way in the same waterway, Gulf of America, formerly known as Gulf of Mexico. Kazan at gmail.com. If you have any questions or concerns, you're in the Ocean Springs area and you want to discuss this a little further, a little face to face, do email me. For your comfort, we can meet in Mobile, one of those local IHOPs or something. IHOP sending me out a blast now. I know plenty of them. Used to work for the corporation. They're scattered all up and down the Gulf Coast where I reside. Pensacola, Florida. I say Pensacola, Florida is where I reside. What happened to Nolan Wells? Still the question. Still the question. He would have been found 30 those 30 those 30 days ago, which would have been about 8:45 this morning. I'll be remiss to say we don't know no more then than we know now. That wouldn't absolutely be true. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a medical examiner. I'm not a county coroner. I'm not a sheriff. I'm not a police chief. I'm not a cop. I'm not a deputy, not a marshal. I do not work for the federal government. But what you do have is just a plain old Kazon in his truth. My qualification, my qualification, well, I'm a historian. Nolan Wells family, you do need your historian. And I don't mean those ones that just want to repeat Emmett Till's Mega Egger. No, no, no. No, 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 no. But this. Always go back to the beginning. Easy to do. Go into your YouTube. Go into your history. Pour you up a cup of coffee if necessary. A little warm juice. You may need to roll your carpet, cigar, pipe, papers, a lighter, an ashtray, and a cup holder. That should suffice. Go into the history under your YouTube and go back, way back to the very beginning of when you, nobody else, this is a personal assessment. Go back to when you first got first wind of the story. And then follow closely. That's what we're going to do. We have to go back to Tristan Sheppard. It's a must. I cannot believe all these big money, big minds, big cameras, big stations, big podcasts, big news station, organizations, and so forth. I see how us as Americans get so far behind the ball. You don't remember stuff. Your memory is obsolete. Batteries not included. Real talk. Always, always refer back to your historians. That's my department. You could call it my opinion, but a little bit more straightforward. Tristan not being truthful. And y'all all let him got away with it. Looking like a dirt daubler. That so-called barber, I'm going to take care of you on the flip side. Nice little video for you. Don called it a sunken place. As far as I'm concerned, Don himself is in a sunken place. I'm going to try to keep my coolness, my calmness to get through this. But this is about the most BS. All the way around the board. Dolphin Island, Ship Island, Horn Island. There's one more too. I'm forgetting at the moment. But there I is, Pensacola. I cannot, I repeat, I cannot get to Biloxi. I cannot get to my wife's hometown without going through, not over, not around, not under, through Ocean Spring, Mississippi. Gulfport, certain times of the year, you can find your Cat Williams, Jill Scott, many more up in them areas. Beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful place, beautiful. The whole Gulf Coast, beautiful down here. We at the bottom of the map. I wish for someone to hit Christina up, hit Elmo up. To Elmo, my father and grandfather were Elmo Sr. and Elmo Jr. Two, I won't never forget it. At 54, or about to be 54 this month, you can check back with me in 30 years. I'm going to always remember Nolan Wells' birthday. He shares the same birthday as my baby sister, August the 19th. I'm awfully sorry you didn't make it to that birthday, young man. I really am. Nolan, they doing the most. They got mommy stretched out on the crucifix for trying to find out what happened to you, young man. I'm not a color person. I understand us better as lineage. It's a lineage thing. And then there's a split in that. My nationality and my politics is all included in the one. ADOS. I'm an American. And I just so happen to be a descendant of those same people Trump was talking about when he took the White House for the second time, 72 hours in. He said something that'll stand with me. No one or nobody, I repeat, no one or nobody can change my trajectory on that. And what Trump said was, finally, I'm not quoting him yet, being a student, lover, teacher of history, I can't believe it. Out of all the presidents that we've had since 1865, you come to the one that was the least of them, President Donald Trump. And I quote, the 14th Amendment was for one group and one group only, And that group is those Americans who are the descendants of the slaves. End quote. Add on. We're talking the institution. The institution. Even if you were a free man, you still had to walk a tightrope under the institution of slavery. Donald Trump said, I'm paraphrasing, all these others, all this other people with pimples, people that wear glasses, people that don't know if they're a woman or a man, people don't know if they're a dog or a cat, people don't know if they walk on one foot or hop on two, don't know. All want to try to come through the 14th Amendment, and that's wrong. It's for one group, the 13th, the 14th, as well as the 15th. We appreciate him doing that. To move right along, though, we don't want to get too far off into that. An educated person knows that there isn't but one race, and it's the human race. Anything else outside of that, we're talking about something else. Racism and an American descendant of slavery could never, ever, 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 ever practice racism on no group. Christine and Elmo, although I don't know where they stood at before this, in other words, for an example, I don't know where they stood at on the Carmelo Anthony. I don't know where they stood at when it came down to Aubrey, Ahmaud Arbery. I don't know what conversations they had back when it was Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Alto, not too far from them or me. They're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or Philando, Castile, I think his name was, up in the Minnesota area. That was a heartbreaker. Philando's daughter or stepdaughter in the back of that police car, a little 3-year-old girl, 3 or 4. Mom ain't did nothing, but she in handcuffs in the back of the police car. And that little girl is wiping her mom's eyes, trying to console her mom and tell her she's under the assumption that mommy, if stop crying. I don't I- Stop crying. I don't want them to shoot you for crying. It became apparent at that time of really, whether we want to admit to it or not, how weak we are under this nation. We strong against each other. And I'm going to demonstrate that here in just a few. This will be part two, the cross examination of that Tristan who says he don't even, and oh, by the way, let me go ahead and nip this in the bud. To come through over here, in order for it to work, you have to be ultra well educated. You have to be smart and wise enough to know that we are people, or we as people are not watered down to a color: black, white, colored, people of color, two continents together, the only group, African American. I can put Negro in another slot because I can use that. I can use it. I can use it on Monday. By Wednesday, you'll tell me thank you. You will say Kazon's truth. I didn't know coming in. Glad I stuck around. I have much better understanding. Pound me up and keep it moving. Tristan Sheppard wanted to make the point of he's salt and pepper, and that he loves the salt and don't fool one iota with the pepper. In other words, he say he's black and he's white. Uh-huh. He says he gets the love from the white. And if you don't mind, let me put you in on a little something. Let me put you in on something. Just like I told you, you're not black. The other people are not white. They're not. They're not Caucasians unless they can trace their particular roots back, that person, to the Caucasus Mountains. They're Europeans. And you shouldn't be disrespectful by calling them white folks. Giving them a star by that, and then in the next breath, you agreeing to be black. And I have told you, you can shun me all you want. You're not smarter than I am, not on this subject. I'll mollywop you. I'll mock your brains. You will get your feelings hurt. That's why this channel, you got to be strong. Uh, you must be strong. Let's move on. Tristan Sheppard got away, and nobody, maybe out of fear, maybe you're emotionally caught up in it. I don't know. Elmo, Christine, Tristan has lied We're going to repoint him out. Let's go.
No.
Do you have personal knowledge of someone directly in your friend group having anything to do with Nolan's death?
No, not at all.
So I saw you on television, you had an interview, and I felt like you laid out a few things that I think the world needs to know and be clear about.
Okay.
And the first one is the relationship that you had with Nolan. Can you explain your relationship with Nolan?
Yeah, I will. So his mom got on TV, as everybody has seen, and said that she didn't know me. And
Right out the gate. Right out the gate. That's part of the reason why we on you, boy. If his mother don't know you like that, close eyes self, she don't know you, partner.
man, that can't be farthest from the truth. Me and Nolan, I met Nolan in 9th grade in a second block class. It was math. He was one of the first guys I made friends with.
Was his mother there? No.
It was somebody I made a connection to. Like off rip, he was an athlete. I could tell he was an athlete. When I walked into class, we sat really close to each other.
What? Hey. I'm gonna leave that alone. That's weirdo. That's son. Tristan. I'm just saying. That might go for Don Lemon. That's a little, you know?
And all he did, he turned around and asked me for a pencil when I first met him in 9th grade when I moved to Ocean Springs, man.
So wait a minute, let me get this right. You walked in the class. He was already in the class. You little liar. You walked in the class fresh in there. And he asked you for a pencil. Prove it. Prove that happened.
It was tough, and the relationship there has always been best friend in my eyes. I never wanted to take away how close somebody else was.
Now that might be true. That might be true. But you're a little dirty, dusty looking something. For real. Nolan was clean cut. So maybe that is true in your eyes, inside of your head.
With Nolan, but Nolan was my best friend. That was a guy I knew I could call at any point in time. He called me at 11 o'clock on the 4th to see where I was parked at. Man, me and Nolan have countless nights of him giving me advice on my girlfriend, on my life in general. Nolan has been the only friend, and I love my friends.
He called you at 11 o'clock. That's the only thing. That's the only note I'm making off of this.
My best friend in this group of guys, but Nolan has been the only person that ever tell me like he's proud of what I've done. He's proud of how hard I worked. He's proud of me going.
I don't think he's proud of you now. And you calling his mother an outright liar. Nolan might want to put them paws on you.
Going overseas to go play ball. That was my guy. Like, that was my best friend.
Yeah, and so how does it make you feel when...
Okay. Maybe so. I'm going to give you that. I'll give you that.
The media activists are coming out and alluding to the fact that you may have something to do with what happened to Nolan on that.
He don't have anything to do with it. He wasn't there. So all of this right here, sir, is fluff. He wasn't there.
Day.
Man, that hurts. It hurts is an understatement. I beat myself up every night I lay down. I beat myself up anytime it crosses my mind. Because in my head, if I wasn't drinking, if I didn't get into that altercation, maybe I would be able to do something. Maybe I would have saw something. Maybe I would have told Nolan, hey, man, you're not going with that girl. Just come back with us. We're going back a little bit later.
This is why we go back into history. You're not going with that girl. Maybe he trying to leave her name out, maybe not. It's a lot to unpack in that. But okay, if you wouldn't have got in the altercation,
We can go meet up with the guys later. Maybe it just plays out different. And then the fact that they're going to play that is I'm already trying to mourn my friend's death as is, and I'm blaming myself for it. To put that in my head is a next level of hurt that can't be truly explained.
why you letting them run around here then and make your boy a drunk? You know, they started that mess very, very early on. And if you don't pay close attention and you're not from down in the pod, you have to plant a seed, a few seeds. Keep in mind, Saturday's the 4th. This is the part of history where Nolan is last seen in between 3 and 4:30. A missing gap, maybe. Let me let him tell you a little bit more.
Because, man, it's hard to put into words. Generally, it's backstabbing from a sense of a community that I thought I had with my skin color, and you know they stay so strong together. And I'm supposed to be one of them, but I come up and I
One of who? You will be one of who? An American? European? Wait, will you?
speak, and now I'm the person to blame. Now I'm not dark
Nobody ain't blamed you. You wasn't there.
enough for them. I'm not black enough for them, and now I'm the issue.
This is about Nolan. What happened to Nolan? Nobody don't give a about how. Who cares? It ain't got nothing to do with you, what your mama and your daddy did.
It doesn't make sense. In my head, it doesn't make sense.
Was Nolan? I mean, obviously you were in the friend group, but the way the media makes it seem is that almost as if Nolan was the only black person in this whole friend group. Now they don't even mention you. They don't bring you up, and
Because he wasn't there. But in my opinion, and if I had my way, he was brought into
this whole thing
for a particular reason.
when it comes to what happened on at Horn Island. So what's your take on Nolan being presented as like the only black kid in a group of all these white boys?
That's crazy, man. I know we've spoken a little bit, but that friend group that I'm a part of to this day was the first friend group I was in when I moved to Ocean Springs as a new kid coming in.
Not Nolan. The whole clique. Oh, okay. Please continue.
I never knew any of them. Any of them. I known one, kind of, sort of. back from grade school because we went to the same private school together. But that was it. That was it. And him being the only black person, minority, any of that measure.
Minority means baby. Goo goo gaga law. Other than that, you're not voting. So you out of check using the word minority. Don't argue with me. Don't be getting antsy with me. Don't be trying to fight with me. Get your butt up. Go put your hands on a law dictionary. Look the word minority up. And then get back at me.
Is insane. Our friend group is diverse from the max. Like, we have a mixed guy. I mean, we had Nolan in our friend group. There's an Asian a part of our friend group. There's a Latino that they're trying to perceive as white. He's truly authentic Mexican. His parents are from Mexico. They came over legally, and they.
I wish like hell I would have knew what this had to do with your knowing, your knowledge of what may have happened in Nolan Wells.
Did everything right, and he's been here since. It blows my mind because our friend group is not a friend group that sees race. Our friend group sees what good you do for other people, what good you bring, and how the type of person you truly are, and where your morals lie. That's one thing.
Yeah. Here's some moral for you. You keep trying to call Nolan's mom. In one breath, you're saying Nolan Wells is your best friend. In the other breath, you're trying to call his mother a liar. And that ain't sitting too right with me, boy. Let's get on to the meat of this thing, though, or where I want to go. Let's get to it.
Yeah,
It's completely wrong, especially about our friend group.
Yeah, I find it, especially after talking to you, meeting some of the guys, that it seems like there was an agenda. But can you walk us through just your perspective from that day? I don't know if did you go with them initially? Were you a part of the group that went to Horn Island?
So I wasn't, no, clear that up. No, I was not on the boat with them. Yes, I was a part of the group that was supposed to go out. So the only reason why I did not go on the boat is I was offered, I got begged to go, but my uncle, we also took 12 people out on our boat, not including us two, so 14. And my uncle knows the passengers wouldn't have helped. Generally wouldn't have helped with anything. With that many people on a boat, you need a little bit of help. So my uncle was like, hey, can you just ride out with me and you can go do your thing throughout the day on the island? I don't care. I don't need you. I just need help to get out there and then pick everything up. Because I know all these people are going to be drunk and they're not going to want to do the extras that nobody sees about going out on the boat, right? And so I told Wyatt that, and oops, my bad. But I told him.
It's good.
I told him that, and
Make a note of that. Op Tatum told you don't say no names. Yeah, you wouldn't do too well under the cross, son.
And I told him everything, which was go to plan. We were leaving a little bit earlier than them. I was gonna try to have a spot saved out. And Nolan calls me at 11 o'clock. I missed his phone call. He called me twice. I missed both of them. I saw Wyatt and Nolan on the boat. They pulled right in front of our boat, and they were screaming. I turned my head, and I was like, yo, there's a spot over there, where they end up anchoring out. I helped them set their stern anchor. From the time they showed up until now, going back to it, 20 minutes before they left, I was with them. That's who I was with.
20 minutes till they left. 20 minutes till they left, you was with them. I'm gonna hold your ass to that.
I spent all day with them, minus the morning time before they got out there. But from the time they got out there to the time they went back in, I was with them. Those are my friends, man. Those are my guys.
Yeah, I want to get a few more details.
But this is even confusing you. I know it. I know it. I know that's right. I would have had to stop too. You know he done messed up. You know he done messed up. Let's get to it.
I'm sorry about that.
I know that. Yeah, go ahead. I know that you were all over the news because there was a perceived fight. People, this is the thing that gets me, and I want to clarify this. When I saw the video that they put out on the internet claiming that Nolan was saying, "Give me my effing phone back," the coach came out, Nolan's coach came out and said immediately he knew it wasn't Nolan's voice. And obviously it wasn't Nolan's voice because you were the one that was
me yelling, yeah.
in there yelling. You got into an altercation with somebody. What happened after?
With who? What did it have to do with your phone? Tatum done did his part. He done did our part. He specifically put you at, you're the one yelling about your phone. Now, let's see if the story that you're about to tell is circled around for someone to give you your effing phone. What are y'all doing with my effing phone?
To that, like, put me in your place where the fight is over, whatever happened. Nolan is somewhere, you're somewhere, you're hanging out. And when was the last time that you saw Nolan before you left Horn Island?
So, after the fight, I didn't stay on Horror Island much longer. So I was really upset. So with you hearing me yelling, my uncle had told me to get on the boat and wouldn't let me back off the boat. Obviously, I was really mad and I wanted to fight, wanted to get what wasn't smart, man. Mm-hmm. And
you wanted to fight who?
So I was on the boat, I'm yelling, and shortly after that, I left the island. I left probably 30 to 45 minutes after I got into a fight. We started to pack up and left because I was so upset. As Javon mentions, that they were ready to get me back to land because I wasn't.
I'm glad he said that. This is why I want to beg for you to go back in your own history through YouTube. Go back. Also, it doesn't hurt for you to make notes. I did. I made notes. I took notes. Took them in pencil for a reason. Use a highlighter. He's already having conflicting stories already. If you keeping up, you already see them. You hear them.
Really mad. I was genuinely really mad. But the last time I saw Nolan, I was walking to the boat. This was before the fight. It's me and my old lady. We had just got out of a group of people. Nolan was walking towards Wyatt's boat. I was walking in the opposite direction towards my boat. And I dabbed Nolan up. I made a slick comment about something, actually about the girl that he was with. I made a slick comment to him.
I want to get to the bottom of that I understand most people are rolling over it. They done got scared. They don't want to put particular names in it. And I just say to them people, fam, y'all ain't put nobody's name into anything. Any information you have, you got it from them. So don't be letting them make you feel some type of way. Christina and Elmo, just bear with me. What happened was they went on radio silence. Everybody. Trump, you can't really put this on him. I said it then. I stand on it now. And not to anybody's fault, but Trump was 96 hours late for the game. Meanwhile, the rest were on radio silence. Willing to bet, though, they had their ears to the street. And they allowed, although they couldn't do nothing about it then, can't really do nothing about it now, to let their internet build their alibis for them. When the video came out of what was to allege to look like a disturbance, some controversy, some back and forth, everybody was on the same page, which kind of scared them ears to the street people that was Nolan saying, give me back my effing phone. Right now, he's saying it's him. He's the one that was saying, give me back my effing phone. And if you go back in your history, it was a whole week and a little bit of change had went by when that was the topic of the conversation. In my opinion, somebody made some phone calls. This was not the first, second, third, or fourth, or fifth phone call. But as we were getting into phase 2, because remember, they're on radio silence. Looking back on it, I don't think it would be much the internet personalities could do about it. But in a perfect world, I wish we would have slowed down a little bit. Because they did use the internet to at least lay the foundation to the house being built. Once you have a foundation, you can start framing. He's saying that's him saying, give me my effing phone. Let's see if he brings it back up. Let's see if he, because right now it's an incomplete statement. Let's see if we could get the whole picture of who had his phone. Why was he having to be so adamant about giving him back his phone? Why did they take his phone? How did they take his phone? Everybody's phone be on the boat, right? That's what y'all say. The big news people say they understand that. I'm just wondering why, with those big credentials, big names, big numbers, big followers, if you're telling me those are our voters, man, we in trouble.
Us joking around, and I kept going.
But it's that girl. You cracked the joke at him. Warren told him he was crazy. That leads me to believe if there was anything done malice or nefarious, that girl is somewhere up in it. And that there deserves a whole nother video. I want to be more clear on exactly what she told Christina or Christine. And whatever it wasn't quite adding up according to Christine. It was different. It was a different account than what she originally heard.
And not even 10 minutes after that is when I got into a fight. Last thing I told Nolan was, all right, buddy, I love you, see you later. And I'm glad I said it. I had been under the influence a little bit, and that's probably why I did say it at the time, just, getting all lovey-dovey, but...
I don't know why you threw that in there. Now, I can tell you what it sounds like to me. I know the rhythm. I know the cadence of the Gulf Coast. It almost sounds like, to me, you got both feet in, but you got your big toe holding on to the top. I could say a little bit more on that, but I'll leave that part there. Go ahead.
I'm at peace I said it. I'm glad I said it. That was my last encounter with Nolan. I was telling him I love him.
Did you have any, so you leave the island, did you have any encounters or association with these phones, with the keys?
You jumping. He hasn't gotten into the altercation yet. He just so happened to be passing Nolan. He cracked a little remark. Something doing with the girl.
Did you have any connection to any of that?
I did not. So what I know, I got my first phone call from Warren at about 9:20. I didn't answer it. I was asleep. I'd been on the boat all day. I didn't feel like going to party anymore. I went to bed. So I got my first phone call about 9:20, and I didn't wake up again until a little after 11 o'clock. And that was to my brother coming in the room being like, hey, Warren's trying to get a hold of you. You need to answer the phone. They're looking for Nolan.
Uh-huh. Don't know why you... See, I don't think you and Warren and them is as close. I don't buy that. Not yet.
And I'm half awake, and I pick up the phone. And by this time, nobody had came to the house to grab anything. And Warren gets on the phone, and he's...
Wait a minute. What was you expecting someone to come to the house to grab?
just like, hey, man, he was like, hey, have you talked to Nolan? Anything else? I was like, no, I haven't talked to him, man. He was with that girl last time I knew. And he was like, okay. He was like,
There we go with that girl, that girl, that girl, that girl, that girl, that girl.
he's like, man, we can't get a hold of him. We don't know where he's at. And I was like, man, it's Nolan. He's probably just out somewhere with that girl. Like, get a hold of the girl, you'll probably find Nolan. It's no big deal. And he was like,
Y'all don't know the girl, right?
all right. He was like, but we're starting to freak out. We're getting on the phone with Coast Guard. I was like, okay. And at that time, he had already talked to his mom, Nolan's mom. And he was getting on the phone.
Had he talked to his own mom yet? Yes. Yes. He had Warren. Warren had already talked to his mom. And now you're throwing in there that he had talked to Nolan's mom. Okay, possible.
Phone with the Coast Guard. And I'd called. I need to be specific about this.
Wait, hold it. Slow down.
I did not call Warren's phone. I called another one of our buddies' phone, and it was on speakerphone. They were all together. I was talking on my other buddy's phone, talking to Warren. He was dialing Coast Guard because he hung up the phone and was like, hey, this is them, bye, and hung up the phone. And that was the last time I talked to him until the next morning when we all decided, well, when I woke up about 7 o'clock that morning.
What did the Coast Guard say? That's a whole nother subject right there. Because the Coast Guard had to come back and modify that statement they made previous that they didn't hear anything. And then a day, maybe the next day or the day after, they had to come clean. I want that call. Warren, I want that call, sir.
We had all decided that
I know this Tristan. Tristan, I want you to call Warren and see if you can get me a copy of that call.
we were going to go out on the boat and go look for Nolan.
And play.
We took that boat out. It was
What day are we talking?
That's Sunday morning.
Sunday morning on the 6th. The 5th?
So it was Saturday the 4th was the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. The 5th was Sunday. We were on the water from 9:45 to 11:50, 12 o'clock era, about lunchtime.
I wonder if is he being careful with that time. Shout out to that coach who called up Elmo to get an understanding of what was going on based off of what he was seeing on Facebook. That's the coach. Elmo, it broke my heart. He was like, I don't have a boat and I don't know nobody that has a boat. And the old coach asked him, you want to go out there? Because I got a boat. That was at 3 a.m. That's early morning of the 5th. By 5 o'clock, they was on the water. I wonder how long they were out there at the island and if they ran into them or not.
While we were on the water, we talked to a rescue guy, and he told us to get off the water and said that they kind of had the island and the water under control. That's the professionals, man.
Yeah.
They told us to get on social media and find out any information we can. And by that time, we had already talked to a good amount of people.
You had already closed down your media account.
Out there. So it just made sense. So we went back in and we concluded our search and started the search off socials and started sharing everything we could and try to get a hold of anybody that could have talked.
Who's the we? Homie and them closed down their account. They were already on the move before the body was found. Did they not?
Nolan, that Nolan possibly would have reached out to. And that led into the night. It led all night long. I didn't sleep at all Sunday. Monday, I was up at 5 a.m. I was putting fuel in our boat at 6. I got told that we were taking out another boat to Chandelier at 7. So I put my boat back on the lift, and I went to McDonald's, and then I got the news. after I left McDonald's that his body was found. So it was already a plan that we were going and searching and trying to do everything we possibly can.
You were told to get off the water, leave that alone, get on the internet. Y'all going back out to the water. All right. Now, the average Joes, they be cracking me up. They'll buy that. They will accept that. To me, it's a contradicting story. They told you to get off the water. You just said that's the big dog.
And that's all I wanted to do. Is I wasn't there to help him out in his last minutes. But now I feel like as a friend and
Help him with what?
as one of my guys, man, I do everything in my power to help now. And that's why I have reached out.
And I believe it. To help now, what you said, you do anything to help now. And I believe, I personally, I believe you.
To the family, I have donated to the family, and I have giving them just
bump that donation. They want to know what happened to their son. I don't know what's wrong with everybody. I don't. Especially folks with children. You better be careful. You better be mindful. I've seen a lot in these 50-something years. Better be careful.
your normal death gifts, I would say, as you pay your.
A death gift. I went and got, the regular normal death gifts that you get. I've never heard nothing like this in my natural born life. This boy's out of his mind. All right, now let's go back over this story one more time, Tristan, before we get up out of here. Now, give me the understanding now of, because I'm still waiting on you to get to the part to where and how you got into an altercation that made you yell out, since you say it was you, give you your effing phone. Maybe we'll get to that part now. Let's see.
It's absurd.
So can you help me understand the fight a little better? Because I interviewed Warren, who's your friend, and he had made mention that his brother was involved in the fight. So can you explain who actually started fighting, and were you fighting his brother or were you fighting somebody else? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, and I can see now, especially, it's all been blown out of proportion. But so originally, I'll go back a couple steps. Original, me and my girlfriend, I wouldn't even call it an argument. She was upset that I lost the lid to her koozie. I dropped it in the water. Generally speaking, that's how it started. And I dropped her new koozie in the water. And so she started to let me hear it and basically told me I was paying for it. And she was really upset with me and mad about it. And I needed to kind of sober her up a little bit. And so we're walking back. And during that time, this guy that I'm not friends with, I know of him. I don't know him. I didn't even recognize him when I got in an original fight. He had butted himself into my conversation and basically was telling me how I needed to handle or address.
Handle your telephone or hand over your telephone. You better say that. That phone better come out your mouth, boy. If it don't, boy, I'm going to stay on your ass. I'm telling you I am.
The situation with my girlfriend. And man, we weren't even yelling at each other. We weren't arguing. It was more along the lines of, I literally told her, I was like, man, I just want a beer. And she was like, well, go get one, blah, blah, blah. Well, when I said that, she had ducked her head underwater and he had walked up and he told me that I needed to watch how I talked to my girlfriend.
Y'all were walking on the land. Were you in the water? See, I'd have had to get that part clear because right now I'm not clear. But I am on the search for the person who took your phone. And I do want to ask them, why did they take your phone? Since that was you yelling, Give me back my effing phone. I'm riding that.
And I looked at him and I told him, I was like, this has nothing to do with you. We're good. This has nothing to do with you. And he sat there and he was like, well, I'm going to tell you, I better not hear it again. And I looked at him and I was like, you need to excuse yourself from the situation. And after I came out, he swung. He threw the first punch. And we went back and forth. I remember at one point in time, I look over and I see my uncle, and my uncle's yelling at me to get in the boat. I stopped fighting. As soon as me and him made eye contact, I got in the boat, I'm sorry. And I listened to my uncle.
And what was Warren's brother involvement in this?
And so I was getting there. So when I'm on the boat and they're trying to cool me down, I'm trying to get back off the boat because I see the crowd forming up on the island. Well, my little brother and Carter are like really good friends, like best friends, I would say. He's over at our house all the time. Carter heard him still talking crap as he's getting out of the water, and I'm on the boat, and the situation is like done and over with, right? Well, he sees him talking crap, so Carter gets up, and more along the lines of defending me. And for what? He was like, well, if you got a problem with Tristan, we can handle it right here.
So what's the racial breakup of these people that are involved?
Wrong question. Wrong question. You little Tatum head. Wrong question. A more valid question would have been, so where does the part comes in to where you're yelling, give me back my effing phone?
So the guy that you fought was
white. I'm the only black guy involved in this whole entire thing.
Yeah.
And at all. Like, I mean.
You're not black. Black is an adjective. It modifies and/or describes a noun. Third grade grammar.
I don't know. Carter is white. The dude I got in a fight with is white.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only.
You're not white. You're European. Stop being disrespectful.
Black guy involved with this. My girlfriend's white. My uncle's white. There was no other black guy involved. And I know Ben Crump tried to run with a story saying that was Nolan. Well, it was like, nice try, but there was another black guy on the island, so now your whole narrative needs to change again.
Right.
So what you're telling me is, after you done spoke freely, no pressure, after Ben Crump was addressing it from what he heard, and see, here's the thing with me, Tristan, in case this comes by you. I don't really care for Crump at all. But what I will not do is, I'm not going to shun on myself. I don't care for Al Sharpton. I don't care for Don Lemon. I appreciate Trump straightening out that 14th Amendment. Well, I was actually tired myself. And these people with this high education, they baffle me. Black, white, African American. You got injected into this. You wasn't in it. You put yourself in it. And we still, to this day, a month later, after the very day Nolan was found, we still don't know who you was talking to, since you say that was you. We don't know who you was talking to. You never brought it up again. You're not making it fit.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that was Carter's involvement, and that was kind of it. Like, after the fight, man, I remember getting off the boat. I got off the boat and I walked up to the island. I was telling people, I was like, hey, like, I just need to cool off. Like, let me be. This is after everything is dispersed. There was no crowd anymore when I walked off the boat. And I was like, I'm letting me be. Well, again, my uncle yelled at me and I was like, I don't care what you're doing. Get back on the boat. We're leaving. So
Right. 'Cause you said earlier you didn't ever get back off the boat. You got on the boat and that was the end of it. But you did get off the boat when the crowd dispersed. Is it now you're getting ready to yell out there to the water, give me my effing phone? We're not gonna get that. Maybe the reason why we're not gonna get that because that wasn't you and that you was asked by somebody to be that person. You alluded a while ago, I guess, to the fact that you have some Negro in you. And that's what they needed. Since Crumpnum was running around saying it was Nolan, they needed to get close, so they came and got you. I personally believe that was Nolan, since this whole thing is a part of it has been about his phone being separated from him. The keys I get. I'm not in on the crowd with the keys. I get him leaving the keys at wherever his car was at. Swim trunks. Yeah, I'm a leave my keys back at the spot. But my phone, that's rolling.
I got back on the boat and we left shortly after that.
And that's the end. So y'all see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? I've heard what he had to say. I heard what Octatum had to say. What we did not get was anything outside of Tatum bringing it up. Even after he got him right there to the well, guided him through the night skies, through darkness to the well. And Tristan didn't even bend over to drink. You know why? Because that was not him yelling, give me my effing phone. He's lying. He's a liar. Why he talking about mother of Nolan is not being truthful. He's not being truthful. You did not get one iota of a word out of his mouth of him in the position of give me my effing phone. You did not. And because you did not, that means my part is over with for this. I'll let you be the judge. Get this to them big dogs too. Don't worry. I work 10-hour days, 4 days a week. So I'm definitely not in it for the money. I don't have the time to sit here all day on internet going over and over. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a medical examiner. I'm not a county coroner. I'm not a sheriff. I'm not a police deputy. I'm sheriff deputy. I'm not a police officer, police captain. I'm not FBI. I'm not CIA. I am ADOS. That I am. The rest I'm not. But what I am is a historian. And if I'm interested and the story has my full attention, it's like I'm a human recorder in my head naturally. And if you change one iota, I'm going to know. And I'm going to address it. So in my conclusion, Christine, Elmo, anybody else that gets this, tag this in to Don, to Tatum, ABC, Rolling Stone, TMZ. Nobody but Kazon's Truth had the courage and the memory and the historical in and output to swing back around and pull up on Tristan Sheppard. To personally tell him, as a part of the Gulf Coast, 45 minutes down the highway to his east, my west, I will open I will lay it out. If you want to discuss this in person and you want to be comfortable, we can meet in Mobile, Alabama at a IHOP. And we could talk about it in depth. Maybe you'll give me an interview since everybody else scared or don't remember or too slow or too high sprung. Pick one to simply ask you that one question. Son, if that was you, and how many days it took, almost a week and some change, from that one clip picking up momentum, you wanted to put the fire out by saying it was you. Who called and told you to do that? Deep down inside, you know that wasn't you because you never, ever, 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 outside of Brandon Tatum bringing it up, you never activated that in any, not one of the interviews you done did. And to me, sir, call it what you want to call it, that's an issue. Why you lying? What they got on you? What did they tell you? You wasn't there. So they brought you into it. I need to swing by Javon's testimony again. I'm going to be touching it for the first time because he built some of his story off the interview Javon did. That's what I'm talking about. They went into radio silence and they allowed you, me, us to start trying to put things together while they was in radio silence. But they had their ear to the street and they billing their alibi around what we put out. Now that we have that, you sleep and rest on that. Email me, kazon@gmail.com. Further support this channel, you can do it through Cash App, $, KAAZON, capital S as in Sam, R as in railroad. You can also Zelle through the email, kazon@gmail.com. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not, and most certainly, share this and get on to them. Some of y'all got more power than me. Now, if you scary, don't worry about it. Just come back for the next one. But if you can stand 10 toes down, ask them the question, how come Tristan never, ever, ever tells you out of his mouth why he was yelling for somebody to give him his effing phone? That's all I have. So the next time, I'm still on it. Peace.
And well, at least I know you from the interviews that you've done. Some of the other boys haven't spoken out at all.
Yeah.
You've had a chance to use your voice to put the truth out there. You did an interview with, I think, ABC. You also did an interview with Rolling Stone.
That was my first interview, yeah, with Rolling Stone.
The first interview was Rolling Stone, then ABC?
And then ABC, yes.
Now,